Stand by please, electric sound, wardrobe, wig, stage management, stage crew, flyers and all technical departments.
Welcome to Leave the Ghost Light On.
Okay.
Hello and
Hello.
welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show.
It is Leave the Ghost Light On.
Mm-hmm.
That's us. And I'm Danica, and that's Jill.
Hello, everybody.
Hooray!
It's very exciting. We're on like episode 6 right now.
7? 6? 7?
6. Yeah, I think we should be 6 right now. Awesome.
Ooh,
Cool.
very shiny today. Hello.
I know. That's what I mean. You're very pretty today. So, I mean, you're pretty every day.
Oh, go.
But yeah, I feel like when we do it during the day, then you have like the nice, like natural light going on. The natural glow of the day.
It's called sunshine. Imagine that.
I know, right? Get that vitamin D.
My God. So I went to Pride on Saturday.
Yeah.
Very briefly.
Uh-huh.
Oh my good Lord. It was so motherfucking hot outside.
Oh, really?
Like, I think we were there for like 3 hours, but like one of those hours we spent in a bar called Foundation because it's underground.
Yeah.
So I was like, we were outside for like 20 minutes before I was like, I'm dying. I need a drink that is cold and with ice and something that is cold. So yeah. But Pride itself was really good. I surprisingly, I think we just went too late in the day, but I only saw 2 people I knew, and I was like, what's happening here?
Yeah.
And like I reached out to all my other friends and I was like, are you still here? And everybody was like, no, I left at 4. And I was like, mother.
Okay. Like why? Also,
because it was hot and they got there early.
That's fair. What's the temperature there right now?
Right now, it's not too bad. I think it's like,
or I guess what was it on Pride Day?
It was like 95. But also remember, we have humidity.
Yeah, that's what I always forget about.
It feels disgusting.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. I was just like sopping wet within 10 minutes. It was horrific.
I will say that is one bonus for Vegas is it is ungodly hot outside at all times. Like I think right now it's like 110.
Ugh.
But there is no humidity in the air. So like it's hot, you're uncomfortable. Obviously you don't want to be outside, but at least you're not like wet. Like you almost like I mean you obviously sweat, but like it's all gone. Like it just evaporates away.
Yeah.
So
and also if you go in the shade in Vegas, you're like, oh, how lovely. Whereas like shade does nearly nothing.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the only thing that I don't like here, which again, it's just, it's ungodly hot, it's gonna happen, is that the wind is hot.
Oh God, it's like being inside of an oven.
Yeah, it's literally, it's like being inside of an oven and you're like, I'm gonna cool myself off with a hairdryer.
Yep.
So
yeah, the Vegas blow dryer. Yeah.
Oh, that's what we'll call it. The Vegas blow dryer.
That's what Nick calls it. Yeah.
Oh, really?
that nice hot wind. Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's pretty good.
Woo.
Right. Woo. Well,
yeah. Pride's the only thing that's really new with me.
Nice.
I still have my Pride earrings.
I know you've got some nice Pride earrings going on. That's fun. I don't think I've ever been to a Pride thing before. So I've been to like an
honestly,
accidental
this
one.
This was my first one that I like actively went to. And I still can't believe that this was my first one like going. And like I even did like I did my bi flag eyeshadow and stuff. It was really fun.
Nice.
And of course, I have bi flag laces in my boots, and I wore my shirt that said heterosexuality in this economy. Yeah.
In this economy. That's pretty funny.
A lot of really fun like people like laughing at it and saying that they liked it. So
that's cute.
That was fun. Saw some really good shirts that day. Oh my God. So many good shirts.
Oh, I bet. Just so you know, they're literally re-asphalting my parking lot right outside my window right now. So it doesn't seem like it's super loud. I don't think it will be, but if for some reason it gets really loud, just let me know.
Okay.
I think it'll be fine, but
yeah.
I don't know if asphalting is a particularly loud job. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. But anyway, so
Do you have any fun mugs today?
I do.
Oh my god! Is it a hedgehog?
It's a hedgehog. It's my largest mug.
Oh my
So,
god.
but yeah, it's just a goofy hedgehog
Oh
mug.
my
So,
god. I have 2 different mugs that I brought out today. So this is my water mug today. It says my bucket list is pretty short, but my fuck it list keeps growing.
That's awesome.
And then I have this one that I actually poured my energy drink into this because I was like, yay, coffee. So it's Matt Riley cup. So
Mhm.
and it's the one that he sent me and Heather, and it says forward is a better direction. Hi, Maddie.
Nice. Cute.
Yay. Thanks, Maddie.
Nice. I have something random to say. I
Ooh.
got bit by a shark yesterday.
I'm sorry, what? Oh, at mermaiding?
Yeah.
What a jerk.
I don't think I've said it yet, but yeah, so my second job, just like my on-call job, is I'm a mermaid at the Silverton, which is a
Cool.
lot of fun. It's literally just like swimming around in a mermaid tail and waving to people and blowing kisses and all that kind of stuff.
It just
So
sounds like so much fun.
it honestly is, but the tank has the tank has like stingrays in it and lots of fish and sharks and stuff like that. Now all the sharks are we call them, I guess they're toothless sharks. So
Oh,
like
okay.
they don't have the serrated teeth or serrated toothless sharks, whatever. Um, but we've got some like a one that's like a foot long, like and that kind of thing, and then we've got like a huge like 3 foot long one. They're mostly bamboo sharks, which are my favorite.
Oh.
And then the asshole who bit me is a horned shark.
Oh, okay.
Um, and so they all had like the stingray mouths where they're on like the
Oh, yeah.
bottom of their chins kind of a thing, and they just look like a little like either upside down sad face or a smiley face. It's kind of funny. But anyway, so I was mermaiding, and usually everything kind of like leaves you alone when you're a mermaid. Like they're just used to it by now. They're like, whatever, this person's not gonna feed me and hurt me. I don't care. And they just like swim around us. So as a mermaid, you kind of just like, you swim around, you wave to people, blow kisses, all that kind of stuff. And there's a point where there's a spot on the bottom that has like a little knob sticking up through the sand. And so sometimes I'll just kind of like go down there and grab it to kind of like hold myself down and
Oh,
just
okay.
like look at the audience and just like wave to them and all that kind of stuff. Cause like we're in salt water, so you're a little buoyant. So it's nice to like ground yourself. But anyway, so one of these horned sharks just like swam over to me. And usually the bamboo sharks are the ones that are like swimming around us and you can kind of like stroke them a little bit.
Oh.
This guy just like came over to me, like straight for me. And I was like, oh, hey, what's up, buddy? And looked at my hand and then proceeded to like, and just like suck on it a little bit. And I was like, I mean, this is weird, but like, okay. And I've got like an audience of like, you know, 30 kids and adults and everything. But anyway, he's just like gumming it and then all of a sudden just like, ha! And like chomps down on it.
What a dick.
And I was like, you asshole. And like I couldn't do anything because like all these people are watching me. But so I just like held there and I was like, let go. So it hurt because they don't have like serrated teeth, but they have essentially I think it's called like a palate or something.
Oh, yeah.
But it's like a long tooth. I actually took a picture of one of them that I harvested from him because I was like, give me that. No, I'm kidding. We just have a jar of them. But yeah, it's just like a long like palate essentially. So like he didn't break skin, but like I essentially have
Pinched
like
it
this
pretty good.
yeah, like it had like a hickey looking thing on there. And I was just like, you
Oh, you got a shark
asshole.
hickey.
I know, right? Got bit by a freaking shark at work. And then what was great is so that was my first swim session, and I do 5 of them throughout the day, and every single time I saw him, because I knew which one it was, because they all got their little distinct things, and I was like, "Stay away from me!" And every time he would swim by, he was just like,
Dun,
"Ugh,
dun.
what a darn it, darn it, darn it, darn it, darn it, darn it." But yeah, it's very silly. It's a very, very silly thing. It's a very fun job though, and it's fun to like, literally put on a mermaid tail and the only job description is just look elegant and pretty. So,
Great.
yeah, I mean, you have to hold your breath for a decent amount of time, but yeah, like I'll hold my breath for like 45 seconds while I'm like twisting around and doing
Cool.
tricks and everything. So yeah,
That's
because
really fun though.
the tank is like 15 feet deep. So
And plus, not many people can say that they've been bit by a shark at work. So
I know. I was telling some friends of mine we were playing D&D the other night, or
Yay!
like last night or whatever it was. At
Yeah,
this point,
nerds.
yay nerds! It was actually a lot of fun. But yeah, I was like, how many people do you know that have been bit by a shark?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's right.
Oh man, so silly, so fun, such a fun little side gig. So yeah.
Cool stuff. I don't do cool stuff. Anyway,
You do so many cool
I do
things,
cool
Mr.
stuff. Okay, just
Mrs.
kidding. I do
I'm
cool
about to
stuff.
go to freaking Prague, and teach and be a badass, so
I suppose I'll be doing that
mhm.
very soon. That's crazy.
I know, it's absolutely crazy, so
Mm.
yeah.
Oh my goodness. All right. Well, am I going first?
I think so, I think you're
Yes.
the
Oh, because
tragedy.
I have the tragedy. Yes. Okay.
Mhm.
All right. So, Jill, today I'm going to tell you it's a short tragedy, but the history of the theater is really interesting. So I'm going to do
Ooh,
a lot of that first. So,
nice.
this
I like the
is
history of
I
the
know
theater that
it's
we've been
really
doing.
cool.
Yeah, and
It's a
actually
yeah.
that's what some people have been telling me, is that they have been enjoying, like, the fact that we do all the histories and
Yeah,
everything.
dude, this is a really cool one. I like this one. So this
Yeah?
is Her Majesty's Theatre of London.
Woo!
So
London town.
London.
A
So there
British.
have been 4 theaters on this site, and that is on the crossroads of Haymarket and Charles II Street in West End, London. So an unbelievable number of famous names have been involved with each of the theaters since its inception. So like each iteration of these theaters has lots of famous people attached to it. So the first one was opened as the Queen's Theatre for Queen Anne
Mhm.
on April 9th of 1705 by
Ooh,
architect and playwright John Van Grew. Van Grew?
Jean
Sure.
Valjean.
Van Grew, I'm going to
Mhm,
say. And William Congreve, who I know as a playwright, is another famous playwright.
mhm.
It became the King's Theatre when George the First was crowned in 1714 and was called the King's Theatre until another lady finally came to power in 1837. So, first trivia, which queen came to power in 1837?
Um,
One of the longest reigning monarchs. One of.
Elizabeth the First.
Very wrong.
Very wrong. I'm trying to think. I'm like, I don't know. The only other one
1800.
that I can think of is, whatever Henry VIII's daughter is who slaughtered everybody. I don't know. Queen Victoria.
Yes.
Okay, there we go. It took me a second.
There
Literally,
you go.
I was going
1800s.
yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
I was going through the Tudors and I was like, that's too old."
Far too early. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, "That's far too early." That's why I was like, "No, it's not his kids," and then it's like, "Oh,
Mhm. Yeah.
duh." Mhm.
Because Queen Anne was one of those daughters that you were talking about. Yeah.
That's the one I was
Um,
thinking of, yeah.
but yeah, so then it was the King's Theatre, and then it was the Queen's Theatre when Queen Victoria came to power in
Mhm.
1837. So the ownership of that first King's Theatre changed hands several times, including between Giovanni Gallini, who was a famous dance master,
Mhm.
Richard Brinsley Sheridan, who is another very famous playwright, Lord Chamberlain, William Taylor, who was a lawyer, and Michael Novosielski, who was actually a former scene painter of that theater, who then became the architect.
Hmm.
Um, This iteration of the King's Theater ended up doing very poorly in commercial regards, and money was either misappropriated or used on seemingly endless litigation for the ownership of the theater, because they just like kept going back and forth of like, who owns it? This iteration of the King's Theater ended up doing very poorly in commercial regards, and money was either misappropriated or used on seemingly endless litigation for the ownership of the theater, because it kept changing hands and everybody was like, no, it's mine, no, it's mine, whatever. So Giovanni Gallini ended up employing amateur performers, gaining the wrath of critics. And I love, these are direct quotes from some critics. The dance, if it can such be called, was like the movements of heavy cavalry. It was hissed very abundantly. On another occasion, this is so good too.
It was hissed.
Gallini had to defend himself against a dissatisfied audience who charged the stage and destroyed the fittings as the company ran for their lives.
Oh my God.
They must have been real bad.
Why don't we do stuff like that anymore?
Because
you go see
civilized.
Yeah, you go see a show you don't like, and you're like, "Are we charging the stage? We're
run
charging the stage."
Tear it all down. So you remember how I said this was the first of 4 theaters on this site?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think happened to this first iteration of it?
It burned down.
Oh my God, you're right.
Oh my
However,
gosh.
this fire was actually deliberately set on the roof of the building, but the culprit was never apprehended despite a very large reward that was offered.
Why was it set on fire on purpose? Was it somebody who was angry, like, that worked there and was like, "This place is bullshit"?
Possibly. Like, one of my thoughts was, like, maybe it was insurance fraud or something, but
Okay.
I don't know if that was a thing. So
I just think of all the memes of, like, when you show up to work on Monday morning and the building hasn't burned down. Yeah. Yeah. Somebody was just like, "I don't wanna go to work today." Burn.
I mean, you know, who's to say? We don't know. We don't know what happened. So then William Taylor, that same lawyer from before, then had Novosielski build a new theater on that same site, which was completed in 1791. The second theater was said to have been, at the time, the largest theater in England and generally regarded as one of the most resplendent in the world. I love the word resplendent. It's
splendid. Ooh, I like that a lot.
The theater then changed hands several times again between Taylor, John Ebers, Pierre-François Laporte, Benjamin Lumley, and J.H. Mapleson, running through 1867. So, and by that time, the theater was mostly used for operas.
Can I just say really quick, can you do more French theaters? Because I just wanna hear you speak French.
Oh, absolutely.
In your French accent.
François Laporte. Ooh.
Oh my.
Getting steamy in here. I will happily take on some French theatre.
Oh, anyway, sorry, keep going.
So once again, a fire took out the entirety of the theater, leaving only the bare walls. And this time, though, it was thought to have been caused by an overheated stove? Question mark.
That's fair.
And then in 1868, a third building was then constructed on the site. You know what this is giving me throwback like sentiments of is in Monty Python's Holy Grail of like, so we built another castle. That burned down, fell over, then sank into the swamp. But the fourth one stayed up. That's exactly what I'm thinking of.
That's fair. That's a good iteration.
So then in 1868, a third building was constructed on the site within the shell of the old theater. It did not do well. It was sold in 1874 to a revivalist Christian movement, of all things. And then finally was returned back into being a theater performance space in 1877. And very, very famous actors, including Sarah Bernhardt and Minnie Palmer, were very active in this space.
Nice.
So it became actually very, very impressive.
Nice.
After a long time.
Yeah, right. It just took a minute to get there. It just took what, 200 years?
Right. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
This building was found to have quickly become outdated due to the rapid advances in theater technology, and the building was actually demolished on purpose finally in 1892. Not by some horrible happenstance. They were just like, I mean,
That's enough of
because
that.
it was rebuilt in 1868, and between 68 and 92, it was like we had all this advancement in theater technology, which for people that don't know, I mean, like tracks and revolves and all this kind of stuff and different kinds of things that can come in on the wings. All this stuff was, and fly rigs was
for tracks. You're talking about like wagon tracks, right? Yeah. So that was actually really quick, a good example of wagon tracks because you don't really see them as much, or at least they're not as obvious. But Wicked actually uses them a whole bunch. And wagon tracks, for all those non-theater people, are essentially scenery that it can move on and off stage without a person having to push it. It's literally on a track. So
just Lion King does too, right? Most of that's built into the deck.
You know, I actually don't think that they do because
the big
no, that's on a lift.
Ride Rock thing? Oh.
No, yeah, that's on a lift and a turntable because I've been on the stage.
Oh, you're so cool.
I know, right? It actually was pretty cool. Well, maybe we can do it next time. But no, I don't think there were actually any tracks in the stage.
Oh, okay.
So it's completely flat and everything. So because I got real close. I know, right? I got really close to the scenic painter. I was like, I'm gonna be weird right now, and literally like put my eyeball on the stage and was like, how'd they paint this?
That's awesome. I would totally do that though.
Yeah.
Because I want to know that kind of stuff because we're dorks.
Yeah, exactly.
So
was like, what's wrong with this girl?
Nothing, leave me alone. So then the fourth and still now existing theater was built by architect Charles Fills in 1897. When Queen Victoria passed, it changed back into being His Majesty's Theatre in 1901, and then back again to Her Majesty's Theatre when Queen Elizabeth ascended the throne in what year, do you think? Take a wild guess.
Shoot.
I wouldn't have known this offhand.
Man, I'm trying. God, because
I'm not British.
I know. I do like the Queen stuff. Is it? I'm gonna be wildly off. Is it 8? Not 18.
That's very wrong.
Is it like 1947?
Really close. 52.
Okay.
Yeah. She died in 2022. Of course, she ruled for 70 years and 214 days. And here's another weird little trivia thing. She is the second only in longest reigning monarchs in the world, behind whom?
Caesar. Genghis Khan.
King Louis XIV.
Oh.
He ruled for 72 years and some odd days. Yeah. Whoa. Which is just, I can't believe I didn't recognize that. But anyway.
Nice. Yeah.
So during the 20th century, then, Her Majesty's Theatre saw London the blah 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 blah. So again, so Her Majesty's Theatre saw the London premieres of Fiddler on the Roof, Brigadoon, Paint Your Wagon, West Side Story, and in 1986, the world premiere of Phantom of the Opera, which employed, I didn't know this actually, the original Victorian stage machinery to do that boat scene. The scenic designer actually figured out a way to utilize what was already there, which again, wagon tracks. So to use the tracks that were already built into that Victorian stage, which I thought was just brilliant and awesome.
Yeah, that's the boat scene is the one where she and the Phantom are going down to his lair and everything, and they're on a boat, and it's like going all through the stage with like smog and not smog, fog. Yeah, smog is what we have in Vegas. Yeah, fog and all that kind of stuff. It's really it's a very cool looking scene. So.
And so, of course, every theater had to figure out how to do that.
And dreamed again.
Go on.
No, I'm not going to go on. The people don't need to hear that in their ears.
Sorry, everybody. So, speaking of being sorry, let's get to the tragedy already. So, Here we go. So in 1976, John Cleese, of course, of Monty Python, organized a poke in the eye with a sharp stick as a benefit for Amnesty International. This was the first in what would later come to be known as the Secret Policeman's Balls, which is just an amazing name for it's a series of benefit shows that were to raise funds for Amnesty International over the years.
Okay.
So this was the first of that. Over the years, it starred such talents as Peter Cook, Graham Chapman, Rowan Atkinson, other Monty Python members, Terry Jones and Michael Palin, Billy Connolly, who's one of my favorite comedians, Scottish guy, and even Pete Townsend of The Who came to play. And one of these performers at the time was Tommy Cooper, who was a Welsh prop magician and comedian. He was often recognized by his large stature. He was 6'4", and he accentuated it with this signature fez that he often wore when he was performing. So, you know, the red fez. Yeah.
Yeah. Same as Abraham Lincoln.
6'4" different hat wear. His routine was that of the magician whose tricks seemingly always go wrong. So I've seen some clips of his stuff. It's hysterical. It's absolutely hysterical. This guy, yeah, he was a well-loved audience favorite, played for years and years and years. He was, however, a heavy drinker and actually a heavy cigar smoker. Here's, not that you would know this, but here's a trivia thing. When I say heavy cigar smoker, how many do you think that would mean, like, in a day for cigars? Not cigarettes, cigars.
4
times 10.
40?
Yes.
Holy shit.
Yes. And how the man did not immediately die within the first, like, 2 days of doing that? Like, anyway.
Because what, smoking a cigarette probably takes 5 to 10 minutes.
3 to 5 minutes, yeah.
3 to 5 minutes, depending on how fast you're smoking. A cigar takes a while.
And you're, yeah, anyway. Yep. So this excessive drinking and presumably smoking, of course, had severe effects on his health. Duh. We don't have like a number of like how heavy a drinker he was, but I can imagine if you're smoking 40 cigars a day, you got to balance that out with lots of booze. But
yeah, some good old fashioned booze, and I'm sure he wasn't drinking 2% Natty Light.
Right. So, of course, in 1977, he had his first heart attack. Duh. And then by 1980, he was actually no longer offered a starring series, which he actually had at the time. He had like a starring series through British television. And he had to acquiesce to getting guest spots on other shows. So one of those guest spots being April 15th of 1984, live from Her Majesty's, was showing on the London weekend television station to approximately 12 million viewers.
Wow.
So this was part of the a poke in the eye with a sharp stick benefit for Amnesty International.
Yeah, that sounds like not a great title for something that's about to go wrong.
It's so Monty Python, though, you know?
It is. Yeah, it is.
So during this, there is so Tommy's assistant helps him put on this big, grand golden cloak for a sketch. While host Jimmy Tarbuck was waiting behind the curtains to like pass him different props that would like appear to come from beneath the cloak, but it would be done in such a way that like you could tell he was.
Like, you can see like the hand, like.
Yes, yeah, it's really funny. And then there's a part because of course you can see all of this because again this was broadcast on live TV. It's recorded. He does this trick where like he picks up a cloth and he's like messing with it, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, look at this, a live bird was inside it, but it's very clearly like a fake bird. He's like
a fake one.
Holding on to it with his whole hand. He's like, hey bird, I'm just gonna put this very live bird into this box, and he like holds it and the whole thing just like stays completely still. It's amazing. It's so friggin' funny.
I'll have to go and watch this. It sounds entertaining.
It's the videos at my sources. It's really good.
Oh, perfect.
So anyway, so he's got the assistant puts on this big gold, it's like this super, super ostentatious coat, or cloak or whatever you want to call it.
Mhm.
And you can hear Tommy say to his assistant, "Oh, thank you, love," before he slowly droops to the floor. The audience erupts in laughter, and even his assistant smiles at him as everyone assumes this must be part of the act.
Yeah, that's the worst.
Tommy appears to sit very relaxed in a sort of a pile on the floor. Like he's basically, you did that thing where like your knees, you're basically squatting and then you just lay your knees down. That's what he
Yeah.
does. And he's
Mhm.
still like sitting up. And he's right in front of the curtain as his assistant exits. He has some very labored breaths before he collapses on his back into the curtain. So he like kind of leans backwards and again, prompting laughter from the audience. And the fez like kind of falls to one side. And then
Poor
an arm, presumably that of the host, Jimmy Tarbuck, who was supposed to be passing him stuff, can be seen like momentarily popping from between the curtains, again, spurring more laughter.
yeah.
As Tommy struggles to breathe and even move, it is said that in the wings, producer David Bell asked Cooper's son, who I guess was back there, if the fall was part of the act. But when he replied that his father had a bad back and would be unable to get up if he fell, it became apparent that something had gone dreadfully wrong.
Oof. Oh
The
no.
orchestra then began to play music for what was clearly an unscripted commercial break, and
Yeah.
director Alastair Macmillan pulls Cooper through the curtains. The show did not stop at this point. The
Hmm.
act continued in front of the curtain while life-saving efforts were being made to revive Cooper backstage. He was then taken by ambulance during yet another commercial break to hospital, where he was pronounced dead on arrival from a severe myocardial infarction, which means he had a very massive heart attack.
Oof. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Poor guy. Yeah, 'cause
Yeah.
that's one of those hard things where it's like, the audience doesn't know
They
what's
yeah,
yeah, they
they
have no
don't
idea.
know what's scripted, and just
Mhm.
when the orchestra starts to play, it
Mhm.
immediately goes dead silent in there, and I think
Yep.
everybody starts to go, "Oh, shit."
Yeah. We
Yeah.
kind of have a similar thing at like you've seen the show. We have a man who sits on fire and
Mhm.
sits on a chair on
Yeah.
fire, and he's technically a clown, like, he's gone to clown
Mhm.
college.
Yeah.
He's gone to clown college, it's a real thing, everybody. So, like, sometimes he'll do some, like, goofy stuff, but, like, all of the technicians and everyone backstage is, like, trained to know that, like, this is the sign that something is not correct,
Yeah.
Like, he's literally this guy is completely engulfed in flames, like, he's gonna move around, he's gonna get uncomfortable, he's gonna try and find, like, his air pockets, but
Mhm.
it's like so if he's moving, we're like, "Everything's fine," but it's like if he has a newspaper, if he drops his newspaper or, like, does anything besides, like, some little adjusting, like, if he stands up, we're like, "Alright,
Hmm.
that's the sign," like, the audience isn't gonna know, but, like, at least we know kind
Yeah,
of a
yeah,
thing, so that
right.
sucks that, like, even his assistant was like,
No,
"Ha
yeah,
ha ha."
nobody, yeah.
Oh,
Oof, yeah.
what a poor
But
guy.
since his passing, a statue of Cooper was erected in his birthplace of Caerphilly. 2005, he was voted the sixth greatest comedy act ever by the Comedian's Comedian, and there's
Ooh.
also a blue plaque in his memory at his former home in Chiswick.
Hmm.
So that is the story of the lovely Tommy Cooper, who had a lot of a lot of issues, but he was very, very well loved, and just a very horrible on-screen death, which is just,
Yeah.
yeah, on stage, on screen, live to 12 million people supposedly. So,
Yeah.
and yeah, unfortunately, you can watch it. I
Mhm.
sure did.
Yep.
Not sure I recommend it, but I did it for you.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's the same as, like, the Spider-Man one where it's like, I don't really want to see it, but, like, you can, so, yeah.
Yeah, no thanks.
Yep, no thanks. Oh, man.
Mm.
Well, now that we have a king, is it gonna turn back to His
Yes, now
Majesty?
it is His
Oh, it
Majesty's
is?
again.
Oh,
Yes.
fun. Okay, so it's switching back and forth.
Yep.
Okay. Nice. Well, that was a
Yeah.
good story. That was at least,
Mhm.
like I mean, not that any tragedy is good or bad, but at least there was only one.
At least there's only one, and, that, hasn't resulted in any ghosts that we know of, so,
Yeah,
you
that's
know?
fair. No, that's definitely fair. So, well, very good
But
story.
speaking of ghosts, tell me about some spooky ookies.
I know, I was like, "It's my turn now. Now it's time for the spooky ookies." So, I think this is the first one that's we're going all the way to the West Coast of the
Ooh.
United States of America.
Ooh.
Um,
I like to be in the west side of
Ameri
America.
West side of America. Things are expensive in the west side of America, but the ocean's in America. Fuck, it's expensive. That's all. Okay, so we are going to one of my absolute hand down favorite theaters that I have actually been in. This might be no, you've been in the Chicago one, but this might be the first one that I've actually been in. We're going to the Pantages
Woo!
in Hollywood, Los Angeles. So,
Mm.
the Pantages is located on Hollywood Boulevard and has the Walk of Fame right in front of it. It's
Mhm.
right on that whole touristy edge of the street and
Ooh.
everything. So, a little bit of history with the Pantages. So the Pantages was opened on June 4th in 1930, and it was built by the vaudeville impresario Alexander Pantages.
Such a good word
It
for a
is.
person with money.
Mhm, I know. They're impressive and they have money. So the cost of building the Pantages was 1.25 million and was
Mm.
considered a state of the art in the Art Deco style.
Ooh.
It was also very fancy for the time. They had a hydraulic lift
Oh,
that could
shoot.
raise and lower the orchestra pit with musicians on it.
Oh. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
which is pretty impressive at the time.
Mhm.
The stage is 10,000 square feet,
Oh, shit.
which in layman's term means that it is the size of a baseball diamond.
Good lord.
Yeah, it's
Whew.
huge, and it goes through some changes, but it's still that big. It's
Mhm.
massive.
Damn.
So when the Pantages was open, it started out doing, live entertainment, but was also mostly, a movie theater, and
Oh,
especially
yeah.
with our great friend, the Great Depression,
Mhm.
it really, really, was mostly a movie theater. So, what really put the Pantages on the map is in 1949 to 1959, it hosted the biggest night in Hollywood, which was the
Mm.
Academy Awards.
Yay,
And
woo, I
then
guess.
Huh?
Woo, I guess.
I like the Academy Awards, they're fun.
Fine.
Basically, lots of famous people dressed all pretty.
Yep.
And then in 1953, it also hosted the Oscars.
Hmm.
So in 1977, it closed as a movie theater and opened as a legitimate theater and opened its first regularly running show, which was
What year?
1977. I'm being mean. I don't think you're gonna guess this at all, but I just
Oh
wanna see what you
god.
think.
Oklahoma. No, I don't know.
Bubbling brown sugar.
Oh my god, I obviously know that. No, what the fuck?
I have no idea what that is, but it ran for a couple of years.
Oh, good for them.
I know, I shoulda looked up what it was about. I did not. But anyway, Bubbling Brown Sugar was
Sounds fun.
their yeah, was their opening show. And since then, they've had tons and tons and tons of different shows in there. And then in 2000, I was like, "How do I say that?" Like 2001, 2002. Yeah, no, just in 2000,
Mhm.
the theater went through a $10 million renovation, which returned it to its original luster because, like most
Oh.
theaters from the Great Depression to about the 90s, it kind of, fell into its basic disrepair.
Yep.
So, this part I extra like because, like I said, I've been to
Mhm.
this theater and I love it. Some fun stats that I extra like because I'm an artist and all that fun stuff. So, it took over 300 artists
Ooh,
to repaint every inch of the theater, and they
Jesus.
used over 2,000 gallons of paint.
Woo. Whoa.
Yeah. There was 200 square feet of marble used.
Whoa.
Yeah, a lot. And they also used this is my favorite one. They used 84,000 square feet of gold, silver, copper, and bronze leaf.
Jesus.
I'm telling you, the theater is
God.
so gorgeous. So in the end, the theater had over 2,700 seats. So
Whoa.
it is a big theater.
That's one of the biggest we've talked about so far, I think.
Yeah, I think
Might
so,
be the biggest.
2,700. So next trivia question. Can you guess what show they put on in 2000 to put it back on the map as a nice big theater again? It's our
2000.
old friend.
Phantom.
Lion King.
Lion King.
I'm
God
starting
damn
to
it, should've
realize that
known.
Lion King is in every single one that I talk about.
Can't
It's
escape
everywhere.
it, man.
I know. So The Lion King ran for about 2 years and really helped it bring in the money and show off its brand new glory that it is.
Mhm.
So now, the Pantages is a touring Broadway house, and it also hosts concerts and all kinds of stuff. It's got a couple of different theaters. Um, I personally have been to the Pantages multiple times, and I saw Anastasia there, as well as
Ooh.
Hamilton, and surprise, surprise, Moulin Rouge. So I actually got
Nice.
really lucky with Hamilton. Hamilton is what the Pantages brought back, during,
Oh.
the shutdown. So when
Mm.
they reopened, they had Hamilton for, like it was, like, 6 months or something, like, that was kind of where Hamilton, like, restarted its tour, and it
Mm.
was kind of awesome and sad at the same time, because if
Mhm.
anybody knows, Hamilton tickets are ungodly expensive.
Mhm.
I went and saw Hamilton for $30.
Shit. How'd you do
And
that?
so I went, this was in probably, like, I think September of
Mm.
2021, so we were still kind of in the midst where people were, not quite sure
Mm.
about, coming out and everything. You had to wear masks in the theater, but
Mhm.
essentially it just nobody was coming to see it, and so our tickets were $30, and it was us and, like, 15 other people in,
Oh
like,
my
the
god,
mezzanine.
that's amazing.
Yeah, it was actually pretty great. I was like, How did I do that? I don't know,
Wow.
but I'm glad I did."
Yeah, damn.
So, yeah, I saw Hamilton live for $30 with, like, 100 people in the audience.
God, that's cool. Ugh, that's so
Thank you,
cool.
pandemic. Anyway,
Fuck.
so okay, so I'm gonna describe the theater and how it looks now, because this is absolutely the most gorgeous theater that I have ever
Mm.
seen. So, and I will be sending you pictures and also posting pictures. So,
Yippee.
yes, so when it opened and then also how it is now is it is in a Art Deco style.
Mm.
And for anybody who doesn't know, Art Deco is essentially sleek, geometric, and stylized forms that focus on symmetry and repetitive elements.
It's
So,
one of my favorites.
yeah, I didn't realize how much I liked it because the Smith
Mm.
Center in Vegas here is also Art Deco, and I
Mm.
love it. So I think I'm an Art Deco person.
See,
So,
my issue has always been with Art Deco is what they did with Art Deco in Miami, is they were like, "Hey, Art Deco was so cool," and then in the '80s, they were like, "Yeah, let's bring Art Deco here," but they fucked it all up. So,
how?
oh, because, they did Art Deco, but with '80s coloring. So,
Oh.
instead of being, like, really sleek black, white, gold, red,
Mhm.
they went with, like, your teals and your pinks and your sea foams and your oh my god, duh.
Oh,
Yeah. Mhm.
why was the
So,
'80s obsessed with seafoam?
you know, with a lot of things, I don't like brown.
Yeah,
'80s was
paisley
real
pink.
brown.
Yeah. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
So for a long
Alright,
time, I thought I hated Art Deco because that was the only, like, style of it I had
that
seen,
makes
and
sense.
then when I, like, went to college and, like, learned about it, I was like,
Mhm.
"Wait, why didn't they just do it pretty?"
Pretty. Oh my gosh. That's
Anyway.
funny. Well, speaking of which, you nailed it with, the colors and everything because the Pantages, their main colors are red and gold. So, the entry, the lobby of, the Pantages has 2 grand staircases, like, literally, it gives me chills
Mm.
thinking about it, it's so gorgeous. They're off to the side, but every single inch of the flooring of the theater is covered in red carpet,
Whoa.
and it's gorgeous. It's like this beautiful, like, burgundy I don't even know, it's just
Ooh.
ugh, I love it. Um, every inch of the walls is covered in columns, statues, and reliefs, which are all gold leaf, like I was saying before, gold, silver, bronze.
God.
And it's mostly gold, but they obviously like added in the silver, the bronze, the copper to like give it dimension. The grand chandelier, which hangs in the auditorium, is also of the Art Deco style. And what I really like, and I'm actually going to send you two pictures right now. One is of the auditorium and one is of the lobby. So the grand chandelier, like I said, follows the Art Deco style, and the ceiling has bursts of blue with geometric shapes in it. So I just sent you those pictures. I know, right?
That's so pretty.
Oh my gosh, it's absolutely gorgeous.
Oh my
So,
God.
again, I will post these on our Instagram,
Oh,
because everybody needs to
wow.
see this theater. Yeah, absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah.
And then what I thought was fun, speaking of theater fires, they do have a fire curtain,
Oh.
and it is painted in the Art Deco style.
Oh.
Yeah, it's actually really pretty. Again, I'll post a nice little picture of that too.
Yeah. Oh, that's
So
cool.
yes. But yeah, so that is the Pantages, and its little history, and also us oogling and ogling over its
Yeah.
absolute
God, it's
gorgeousness.
gorgeous. Yeah.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
But now we're gonna go on to the spooky, ooky ghosties. So, the lore of the ghosts is that most of them were awakened when the Pantages went through a series of break-ins in the 90s. So, a couple of people broke in, there were a couple of robberies, and so people feel as though the ghosts are there to like protect the theater. So,
Oh,
this
okay.
is my first yeah, this is
New. That's a very different take on like what would cause
mhm.
okay.
This is the first one that I've had where like some of the ghosts like did some stuff. Like nothing crazy, but like they're not just like I'm here to just watch and not do anything. So, the first ghost is Mr. Alexander Pantages himself.
Ooh.
So, Alex Pantages or Alexander Pantages is the father of the Pantages Theater, and in his lifetime, he owned, built, and operated over 80 theaters.
Damn.
Yeah, he was vaudeville, and he was also a early motion picture producer.
Ah,
So,
theater mogul, if you will.
a theater mogul, yeah.
Mhm.
Sadly, at the age of 62, he was falsely charged for the sexual assault of a 17-year-old vaudeville actress.
Oh shit.
Yeah, in the end, the trial, which he eventually was acquitted from, the trial pushed him into financial ruin, and he had to sell the Pantages. And
Damn.
then he sadly died a couple of years later.
Hmm.
So, people say that he still has a watchful eye on the main floor like he used to back in his day, and his spirit is said to walk up and down the aisle during stage performances,
Oh, cool.
and there are quite a few accounts of it.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
the ushers have also said that they will open the door for him and he'll just disappear. I love that one.
God, I love that.
An account from the 1990s spoke of a wardrobe lady who was escorted out of the theater by an unknown person because she was the last one to leave the theater and was having a hard time finding her way out of the theater because the lights were off, which I'm also like, there's a ghost light.
Yeah.
Come on. Like, whatever. Anyway, maybe she was backstage and just having an issue because the ghost light's only on stage, not
Yeah.
backstage. Anyway, all of a sudden, someone took her gently by the elbow and guided her towards the exit. And once she turned or once she was outside and turned around to thank the person, there was no one there. And she
Ooh.
said she heard no footsteps, and it was too short of a time for the person to run away.
Thanks, Mr. P.
Thanks, Mr. Panday. Just also, could you imagine that being like, "Oh, let me help this lady out of the theater," and then book it and run away? Be like, "You guys take me?" Like, what? No,
Somebody
like, of
literally
course it
just
was a
booking
ghost.
it down the hallway.
Run
No, I wanna
away.
do that.
I know, right? Next time you open a door for somebody, open the door, and then as they turn
Welcome
around,
back.
like, run away.
Must
So,
have been a ghost.
like, no, it's not. It's just Danica running down the hallway.
most people who know me would be not surprised if I did that. Like, I mean, yeah, she is pretty fucking weird.
Oh my gosh, that's funny. All right, so our second ghosty is Howard Hughes.
Oh.
So Howard Hughes was an American aerospace engineer, business magnate, film producer, investor, philanthropist, and pilot.
I'm just flapping my little wings.
Flapping your little wings, because that's how he died, was in a plane crash. He is remembered as one of the richest and most influential men in the world.
Mhm.
Apparently, when he died, and this is in today's money, he left behind $55 billion.
Fuck!
I know, I'm like,
Give?
do you need a grandchild?
Alright.
Put me in your
Adopt me.
will. If you're a ghost, yeah, just put me in your will. But anyway, so Howard Hughes was known for being eccentric, but also a recluse at the same time.
I will say, The Aviator, the
Oh, is
DiCaprio
that what it's about? Is it
movie of
about
it, oh
him?
my god, it's so
Oh.
good. Oh,
So
yeah.
I did a deep dive on Howard Hughes, and it was one of those like, oh, there is so much information about
Oh
him.
my god.
Yeah, I'm just
That
gonna
man was fucked up.
yeah, like I was like, I'm just gonna glance over it
Mhm.
and whatnot. Um, so anyway, Howard Hughes, so he acquired the Pantages in 1949 when Alexander Pantages had to sell it. So that is his
M'kay.
connection to it. He also owned lots of other stuff, but anyway, yeah, he owned the Pantages.
That's wild.
Yeah. So lore says that when the Vandals broke in 1990, and it prompted the haunting of Howard Hughes to start
Mm.
of the second floor conference room where he used to have his office.
Oh. Huh.
Yeah, so the Vandals essentially broke in and were on like in the conference room, and he
Huh.
basically like scared them away.
Okay.
He was like, "Bitches, this is my office. Get out. Don't you know who I am?" So So since then, employees have reported cold spots and unexplained breezes, as well as apparitions in the area where his office used to be. There's also rattling desk drawers and cigarette smoke, and that's a common occurrence.
Very cool.
I'm like, maybe someone's just smoking, but the rattling desk drawers, I don't.
Just
Yeah,
smoking in the hallway, whatever.
yeah, no. um, In 1992, the Nederland Corporation executive assistant reported a tall figure of a man walking down the hall and into an old office. Then she heard handles being rattled on drawers and drawers being opened and closed, but upon investigation, there was no one there.
Oh, shit.
I don't know why Howard Hughes is so obsessed with this desk and drawers. He's like, in my ghosty time, that's all I want to do. Just shake drawers. I don't Oh, man. Upon investigation, this executive assistant also felt an unseen presence and a cool passing of wind when there was no wind in the area.
Ooh.
So, apart from spending time in his old office, he also appears to watch rehearsals and also hang out in the lobby after shows.
Oh, cool.
Mhm. One time during a stage rehearsal, a performer saw a mysterious man watching them from the back row of the balcony, and when security went to investigate who it was, he disappeared. And that
Creepy.
has happened on more than one occasion.
Damn.
The next ghost is an unknown supervisor, which people are like, maybe that's Mr. Pantages, maybe it's just a supervisor of some kind. So, two workers quit during the restoration project back in 2000 after experiencing an eerie encounter with a male supervisor.
Ooh.
Maybe it was just him being a creep. No, I'm kidding.
I was like, what? Okay.
No, so an electrician was doing some wiring inspection when a mysterious person glanced over his shoulder. Could you
Ew.
imagine that just working and a face just like,
Ew.
oh, I
Ew.
hate that.
Ew.
And
Ew.
then when he turned around, no one was there.
Blah.
Blah.
Whack. No.
I hate that. Um, and then a painter who was restoring one of the higher parts of the theater auditorium reported that they saw a man climbing down from the balcony to the scaffolding. He was wearing a hat and was walking around inspecting the site. He stopped where the painter was working, and just like the electrician, he leaned over to inspect the work, and then confused, the painter turned around to ask him what he was or who he was, and he disappeared.
That's okay. Come on. No, thank you.
I know, right? I'm like, back away. Let me do my thing.
No, thank you.
Like, at least, okay, could you, the painter's like restoring stuff, and just someone from the back of the audience, whoa.
That sucks. Get a real job.
Get a real job. Shut up, Dave Velasco. Oh, man.
They're all in cahoots, I'm telling you.
I know. They all know what they're doing. All these people who used to own theaters, they're like, no one can do it like we used to, so we're just going to make them all feel bad.
They're so judgy.
Oh, man. Okay, so the last one is a unknown, unnamed female actress. So this is lore, but in 1932, a patron and aspiring performer was said to have died in the mezzanine, though her name and her death are unlisted. But basically every resource that I looked at mentioned her. They just don't have a name for her. There's nothing on the registry. So, which could be the Pantages being like, don't write about that.
Nope,
yeah, exactly. So yeah, so she is an unnamed theater or unknown actress. I do like this though. So people say that she still sings today if a microphone is left on and unattended. So in a very specific incident, there was a mysterious voice that was being picked up through the audio system during a show. And it seems like she is a fan of Andrew Lloyd Webber, since she usually sings tunes from Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat and Phantom of the Opera. I think that's so cute. And then in a very specific incident, in 1994, she gave her first public performance to the living. So she showed her confidence in her talent by singing along with the cast of the musical of Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. And her voice was picked up by the microphone and heard publicly in front of a live audience.
What?
I think that is.
Can you imagine just like you're alone and all you hear is like, go, 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 Joseph, you know what they say. And you're like, what the fuck?
The only one that I can ever think of is there's another star in heaven.
Oh my God.
Oh man, I've done Joseph
Of course I was in that fucking show. Of course.
I've done that show twice. So no, I've only done it once. It's actually the best show that I've ever painted at Utah Shakespeare Festival. And I saw it at Tuacahn in Utah a couple of years ago.
It's a sure is a show.
Joseph, is it really true?
It really is a show.
It is. It is a spectacle. But you know what though? This female actress is here for it. So
I go for it, lady.
You know what? After learning this, actually, if Joseph ever goes to the Pantages, I'm gonna go see it.
Just so you can be like, hey, there she is.
Yeah, there she is. Show us your stuff, lady. But anyway, so the Pantages is on the top 10 most haunted places in Los Angeles. And it is, although I don't think that they offer ghost tours, but any ghost tours that you do take in LA, they always go by the Pantages.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. But yeah, so that is the story of the absolutely drop dead freaking gorgeous Pantages.
Woo! Yay! Good stuff.
Yeah. I feel like this was a nice fun one. Like neither of these were like super heavy hitting, which is nice.
Yeah. So the one thing I really don't love about these is Howard Hughes. Like just him being a creep. Like that's my takeaway from this one.
Yeah.
Like, I knew he had some weird shit going on, but like to just show up and be like, what you doing? Hey, that's not.
Oh, they don't know if that's Howard Hughes. That's an unknown
totally
supervisor.
They
thought
it totally.
Oh, you think it's him?
I would imagine it's 100% him. I'm just gonna go out there and say it's Hughes.
I have a friend, Kendall. Hello, Kendall. She's one of my scenic painter friends, and maybe I'll get her on at one point. But she worked. I don't remember what theater it was, but she worked at a theater as a painter, where they had like an apparition that would just like sit there and watch them and everything. And she said that the worst experience that she ever had was she was cleaning her paintbrushes and everything and was like leaning over the sink, and the sink had a mirror in front of it, and she just was cleaning, and she was there by herself with most of the lights up, and she just looked up and he was just like standing there right next to her while she was cleaning, and she just kind of kept on doing her thing and looked down, and she was like, please leave me alone, I'm by myself, please leave me alone, and like looked up, and he just like just stood there and just stared at her.
No.
And also, yeah, Kendall's got a lot of ghost stories. Like her and her sister are definitely like touched by something. I don't know. But yeah, she said that was one of those like,
yeah, no. Nope. Hard pass.
Yeah, absolutely not. Stop watching us while we work. We're weird enough and weird already.
Gross.
Gross.
Well, that was fun ones. I like that.
Yeah, I like that one too. So I was excited to do the Pantages. So, and if you ever make it out here, we should definitely go see a show there. So, like,
totally. So pretty.
Yeah, so gorgeous. Yeah, the stage itself is just absolutely massive. Because like when I saw Moulin Rouge in the Smith Center, they have a windmill and an elephant, and the Smith Center is kind of notoriously small for theaters. Like we don't even have like a turntable or a lift or anything. But yeah, so like those weren't in there. But in the Pantages, it's like they had the main stage, and then they had room for like the elephant on one side, the windmill on the other side, and like 20 feet in between like those things and the stage. And it's like it is huge. It's a massive stage. So
that's so cool.
Yeah. But anyway.
Well yeah. It seems we've done it again.
We have done it again. I hope everybody is enjoying it. So yeah,
the more I talk, thank you.
Yeah, the more I've talked to people and people want to come on and tell us their stories, and please do. So yes. All right. Well, I guess I'll talk to you in a little bit.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye, pretty lady. Mwah. And
I did it wrong. One.
Ready? And break. Close enough.
There you go.
Until next time, don't forget to leave the ghost light on. Thank you for joining us. Leave the Ghost Light On was created, hosted, and edited by Danica Jackson and Jill Horn.
Musical composition created by Jay Nygaard.
Follow us on Instagram, YouTube, Twitch, Spotify, and more.